Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's podcast of Cass on the Fly. We're here in the backyard and we are discussing family and creation of content. Especially family in your state of family and then evolving yourself into fame. The infamous fame. And what goes into existence when associated to money and fame, attention, jealousy, insecurities, protecting them, protecting yourself, things like that. It's never like appreciated when you're in a family who's not really wanting to be famous, and then you yourself become famous. That's the problem, because you've advanced and evolved yourself into being famous. However, they're not famous and they don't understand fame. They don't understand what it is to be famous, like being in fame. So you want to sit with that for just a second, to be in a moment of being famous. It's like not important to me, just to let everybody know I'm like really humble in it. I really could care less. However, the people in your family are still considering you to be the 12-year-old that you were growing up in the family. And you've evolved yourself into basically like a new person. And they're still relating to you as a child. And they still treat you the same way they used to treat you. As you've evolved into your fame, you realize there's a responsibility that you have in your core, that you have to be responsible for fame. Like, you really should not have your family go along for the ride, honestly, because they don't understand it unless you're side by side doing the fame work. It can put a huge wedge and barrier between you and your family, not only in like comfort, but in like they could be jealous and then they occur as if they're not jealous. But then it's like, you know, like when you're 9 years old and your sister said something and then you rolled your eyes. It's like that. And they're not evolved in the education that you've had. And they don't really want to hear what you have to say either, because they're not in a place of wanting to transform. But that's on them. And they can be content over there with them, but you can't allow them into your space. Because you have millions of people that are counting on you to deliver authentic information on millions of millions of people's pages of platform, to grow them in education. While people in your life are holding you back, there's a couple reasons. Don't leave. And then there's also, you don't know what you're talking about. Not me. Then you have outside sources of others, such as these Hollywood females who are trying to downplay your family. And it's like, they have nothing to do with anything that's going on here. They're not even associated to this adventure that I've been on. So when you become famous, your family becomes a target. They didn't sign up for it though. And so then they talk about you behind your back because they want to stay in sheep land. Plus they've got their own things they're dealing with. Plus, people will look at you and they think you're a sex symbol. And then the energy can bleed into relationships that make no sense for you to be an attraction. Because you don't look like how you used to look either. You don't act like yourself. You don't look like yourself, because you're not yourself. You're actually God channeling. It's like they call it a majestic creature or something like that. Now, when you're evolving your business in content creation, No one's going to show up for you. They're going to think you're ridiculous, you're horrible, everything you do is awful. They're going to judge you. They're going to say, keep going. But they're going to secretly say, I don't want you to win. That's everybody. Count on it for everybody. Otherwise, they wouldn't be human. I don't really understand this fame thing. I don't really understand this content creation thing. Who the hell do you think you are? You think you're going to be famous? Yeah, I do. What else is coming up is, that's the journey though, that you have to decide whether you're going to limit your time with them. And how can you limit your time with them? And you're probably going to hurt some feelings. Your relationship's already shifted. Your relationships have already shifted into something that's unfamiliar to them, and now you're going to have to either leave it, or you're going to have to maneuver your space into a new version of that relationship. And then you want to understand that if you don't handle this early on, it can get really ugly. This is why people sell out. They look for that easy path, but they also look on people that they think they can trust, because the relationship they knew in the past doesn't sit any longer. Doesn't serve them like it used to, or something like that. And it's just the way it is. It's like, let's take a look at this on a bigger scale. We got the globe, who needs assistance. Earth. Humanity, total humanity needs assistance. Or are you going to hold on to memories? Which are great memories. They're like really great stuff. You don't even hang out anymore. You don't even really talk to each other. And this is for all people to realize as you evolve in your social media content creation. It's like, are they going to educate themselves as you progressively educate yourself to come with an advancement of the technology of what's available at our fingertips? Meaning most of you old asses aren't in the technology. Which is why you are not connected to your kids. This is what an evolution in industry. This happened when we went into the, what industry was it? The machinery industry with the cotton gin and stuff. We're in a new age of that. And the older folks, I jokingly say old asses. I say that because I want you to wake up. You're not interested. And these prostitutes are prostituting themselves in front of your sons, in front of your daughters, and you don't really care. Well, I don't really get on social media is a common thing I hear from people. I don't really get on social media. You don't? You're not on TikTok. You're not viewing. Your feed looks like happy dances, children playing. That's not being an adult. That's playing your own game for your own selfish reasons. Understand that there is good and bad in each person. It's like the wheel. I say that, I shouldn't say that, because there are evil people out there. Because we all know that Mona Van's completely evil. I don't see anything good about her. So it's like taking a look at someone and seeing the characteristics. So it's like not all or nothing, I should say. You see how complicated that conversation gets? There's good in all people, but that's hopefulness. That's how we are in this predicament at this time, is everyone needs to get grounded in the realities of what they're needing to take responsibility for. No more misfix it. Well, let me just go to her and let her fix my problems. Yeah, that doesn't work. Because in 2 seconds, you're already back in a bad attitude, trying to distinguish the fire that I have in my feet that are producing content in mass quantities. This has never been done before in the history of social media, to be able to produce this effective, beautiful, intelligent content as quickly and as collectively as I've been able to produce. Your vicious circles are your vicious circles. And having people around you as you're creating is a dark cloud that can be seen in reflection on your content if you do not know how to deal with it. If you don't know how to deal with it, then you need to stay away from them. And then we get into this conversation of where are all the good people at? Are there any good people left on the planet besides little infants? I mean, that's my question for each and every one of you. I literally look at each and every one of your content. There's nothing good out there to be educated on. I literally watch Tom and Jerry and I'm like, this is terrible content too. It's like, what goes on in your brains for y'all to think the way that you think? It's like, doesn't make sense, does it? What planet are we on is what I want to know. And why are you all so vicious and mean? And why won't you get grounded and do something about your own lives? This is the evolution of technology, and this is what it's going to look like. And y'all are not willing to do the actionable work that it needs to be done to stop the prostitutes, to stop Biden. Meaning, how many more conversations in the White House are we going to need to have? How many more? How many more times we're going to have to listen to that trash heap AOC talk garbage? Who's part of the problem? While you parade around and you pretend acts, it's like sickening to watch. While I run around and produce valuable content of creative consulting, which is valuable and should be paid for, while someone's trying to infiltrate and say that it shouldn't be paid for, it should be free. No, it needs to be paid for. I'm not putting up with no more garbage. Do you hear me? Your nonsense. Your political systems in this country of the United States of America, nonsense. Your personalities on fake news media, nonsense. This court case with Donald Trump, nonsense. This seduction thought processes and this want to break up families, nonsense. Nonsense. Too bad. I see you kissing all over your mother and father, and you don't like them either. Yet there you go, producing content like you're Mr. Goody Goody. Well, I know you're hanging out with her this weekend. And where are my parents going to act when you're hanging out with a woman and you're posting it on platforms? Whose side do you think they're going to be on, and what are they going to say about you? I don't care what we got going on, fool. You need to show me some effing respect. I don't care how much money none of y'all have. I don't care how pretty you think you are. I don't care who your parents are either. I'm going to tell you a couple things. You ain't going to mess with my family, and you sure as heck ain't going to mess with me. I don't care what you think about me, where I come from, or what I got to say. Because my shit is the real deal, doo-doo boo-boo. Babe. So when you're ready to start acting like you got some compassion and empathy inside you, when it's necessary, because you don't feel comfortable with someone because they protecting their infant. How about you call your mom and see how she's been treating me lately? Since she and Mona Van are such besties. Oh, Mona, let me see about my eyebrows and my face. Let me go get my face done. Ooh, my son AJ's sleeping with her too. But look at how pretty I am. And let's not forget about your father who's like, ooh, Mona, I love you. Ooh. Is that the kind of conversation you want to have with me? Meanwhile, I'm producing the most valuable content associated to a children's toy while you running around holding hands with Mona Van. Taking me to court and all kinds of dumbass shit while you promoting yourself like you're a rock star. And that goes for my family too. You ain't gonna F with me. Do you hear me? I can have great appreciation for the things that you're doing, but as soon as my shit goes viral and I start making money, I'm paying your asses back and then some. So you better lay off. And that's how you gotta talk to people. Get out. I'm working. I'm working from sun up to sundown, nonsense and bullshit. Not to mention I'm still working out while you're trying to feed me garbage food. That's what you like. That ain't what I like. You want to understand that who you surround yourself is who you become unless you are ready to battle that shit. To thine own self be true. I am true to one person, and that would be God. So y'all all collectively better start remembering that one. I don't give a rat's ass about none of y'all, to be honest with you. As far as I can see, I don't see no end in sight. Today I was trying to figure out where I was going to live because I'm about to get kicked out of my house. While you go live in your high-rise apartment and your fancy other bullshit that you're up to at a fancy hotel this weekend. Is that what you're up to? While you're still fluffing the ass of some Persian biatch who's disgusto. You didn't produce one piece of content today, fool. It means that you got better things to do than to educate your audience when they all should be working their asses off, putting content out. Everyone's looking at their phone today. Y'all need to learn how to grow up and be adults and let the kids be kids. And that's all I got for you in this moment. You better watch yourselves.